Hey guys, this is Jakob. I'm content manager and I'm helping small and medium enterprises with their content strategy. In my podcast, Content Marketing Mastery, I'm interviewing people who create great content, who are experts in the PR niche or who are experts in creating awesome videos. And today I'm going to speak about Brandon Straza about masterminds. So how to create masterminds as a business model. This is for all content creators interesting because if you create content, then you can also sell a mastermind. And we're going to speak about the details, what is important when you create your mastermind and how to promote it. Welcome, Brandon. How are you doing?
I'm awesome, Jakob. Thanks for having me.
That's really cool that you're here. I'm very excited to speak with you today about masterminds. But first, before we jump into this topic, can you introduce yourself? So, who are you and what's your passion? Why are you doing the things that you're doing?
Yeah. Brandon Straza. I live in Dallas, Texas. And I never really felt comfortable calling myself an entrepreneur until a couple years ago. I had created a seven-figure company, but the company I had created, which today we still have and has over 8,000 existing monthly clients, um, it was a model that already existed. So to me, that didn't mean I was an entrepreneur. I created a business, and in 2017, I felt super unfulfilled. I was just like, what am I doing? What am I creating? What's my purpose? And at this point, I was a father. So a lot of things changed when I became a father. So I tried to, start analyzing how could I be more valuable to the people that were sending us business. And I created something called the Naked Agent. And it was a way for me to interview people in our field that were sending us business. And in turn, we would take that material and repurpose it, and we would buy ad space and put it out in front of an audience that possibly didn't know about what they were doing. And
Mhm.
all in turn, we never said, hey, you need to pay for this and you need to send us more business. Now, that might sound a little crazy, but I was like, this is the give mentality. I'm going to video, we're going to edit, we're going to make it entertaining and valuable, and we're going to find out who they are, what they do in the community, and subsequently what they do for a living, all with never asking them for their business. Spend all this money on tech, on video equipment, on editing, and putting this production together. One of our third ones that we did, the person comes to me, he's like, so I got to ask you a question. I'm like, yeah, sure. What's up, John? He said, you haven't asked me for my business yet. I said, I don't have to. He said, well, what do you mean? I said, you just brought it to me. You brought to me that I haven't asked for your business and you're wanting to know how you can send me business. He's like, oh. Now, we hadn't even bought him the ad space. We hadn't even done any of the video editing. We were just finishing the interview. But he saw what we had put into it, the value, the quality, our care. And this continued to springboard us. Now, here was the thing. We bought the ad space. They started doing more business. And again, we never had to ask them for their business. They started sending us more because we were bringing value that others in the industry weren't. What I realized eventually was I'm like, okay, I can only interview so many people in this line of work without getting the same answers over and over again. What can I do that's different? So I interview some one-off people and I find out about this word called mastermind. I'm like, mastermind, what is that? I didn't Google it. I didn't look into it. I said, hey, man, you remember me? I interviewed you here a few months ago. He says, yeah. I'm like, hey, you talked about this word called mastermind in a podcast. And this is in 2018 at this point. Now, in 2018, I knew what a podcast was-ish, but I really didn't know what a podcast was. My wife was like, you need to start listening to podcasts. So I'm like, tell me about it. He tells me, I'm like, all right, I'm sold. And I hop on a plane. I go to my first mastermind over in Thailand. And
Island.
Thailand,
There was no mastermind in the US. So
there was, but the one that I chose to go to, this was US based, but they were doing a getaway. So I head over to Thailand and I've got these amazing teachers over there. People, one of them had sold their business for over $50 million when he was 29. Another one had created a cystogram company that had helped, 40 plus million followers. So on and so forth. Steve Sims, also known as the Real Wizard of Oz, and a few other, amazing teachers. And as I'm leaving Thailand, I realized my unfair advantage was time and money, because I could have invested in the wrong mastermind, but financially I would have been okay with where the price point was. It wasn't like it was 10,000 or 100,000. And this one I think was $3,000. But I realized that how many people don't have time and money to just sit there and say, I'm still going to be okay if I spend this and it doesn't work out. And I'm like, that's not okay. Like, I can't be the only one out there that didn't know about coaching and mentorship and masterminds. There's got to be more of me out there. Mm-hmm. Now, this mastermind worked out. So as I'm leaving Thailand, I start buying up URLs to what we now know as the Success Finder. And I realized if we can cut out the noise, which are the marketers, because that's all, the marketers are constantly flooding our inbox in our feeds when we're scrolling through. If we can cut out the noise, help people find the signal, those are the real coaches, the real masterminds, the result leaders, not the thought leaders. It's great to have a thought, but to actually have actionable results is a whole different story. And take that and create, in essence, some have started calling it the TripAdvisor for self-education. So taking the coaches and the masterminds and matching them with the members, then we're solving a problem. We're shortening the gap. We're shortening the time frame so they know who they can trust, who's going to get them the results. So whether it's $500 or $5,000, they're going to be taken care of. Their results are going to be there because these coaches are tried, true, vetted. We know what the results that they get. And now we've changed over a $50 billion a year industry, which they say in the next 5 to 10 years is going to be somewhere between $150 to $200 billion, because standard education, it's a little different now. Having $250,000 in debt, depending on where you're at in the world, might not be worth it versus going and learning from someone who's doing it. So who am I? I'm a father. I'm an entrepreneur. I saw a problem. I wanted to solve it. And I wanted to help both sides. I wanted to help the coaches and the masterminds. I wanted to help the consumers. I'm not a coach. Mm-hmm. I don't have a mastermind, but we're building something to help change how people connect when it comes down to it.
Yeah. So when I ask for the main motivation, it's not like that this is altruism. I mean, you're passionate about this topic, but what is the real thing that you want to bring to people, or what do you want to share with the things that you're doing?
The reason I'm doing it is, again, the reason behind it is it's peace of mind. It's being able to help other people make sure that their investment in themselves, which is the best investment above housing, above the stock market investment, is the return on your own investment, the ROI on yourself. And so we wanted to be able to help the individuals make sure they weren't being taken advantage of, that they were working with the right people. And I could show my son that we're solving a problem. I could show Liam, look, here's the problem. Mm-hmm. When you see something that you have passion and purpose behind, and you have a foundation, because that's key. If you want to lead with purpose and passion, it helps to have a foundation. My previous companies that I've either exited from or that I still have give me that foundation to be able to go build a company of purpose, which is the Success Finder. Without that foundation, the purpose might not be able to get there. Mm-hmm. And if you see a problem, find a way to solve it. You don't have to look outside the box. You live in a world without a box. As a child, we don't have boundaries. We don't sit there and say, oh, I think outside the box. No, we have that childlike mentality, that kid inside of us. And the problem is, as we get older, education and the world takes that kid out of us. Nah, when you live in a world where there is no box, you put the kid back in and you get to start playing and solving problems and looking at things differently. And not differently because you think it's different, just because you want to do something for purpose. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that answers a little bit more about why I'm doing, the passion and purpose behind this. Now, we'll be a for-purpose company, and there's a lot of other, things inside of that, but I don't want people to get taken advantage of because they don't have a 20-year resume of building up companies and exiting. And so how can we shorten that? How can we make that an easier path when they're investing in themselves?
Yeah, that's just great. So when we first talked about this topic, so first of all, how old is your son?
6. He turned 6.
Yeah. Okay, cool. My son is 2.5. Yeah, this conquering the world thing, that's really cool to see in children. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. So when we first talked, I mentioned, so the first time that I read or listened something about this topic of mastermind was from Napoleon Hill,
Mhm.
Think and Grow Rich. So is this would this be your definition of a mastermind, like way back to Napoleon Hill, or how do you define a mastermind, or something else? Is there a difference between mastermind and masterclass? Or are these synonyms?
Yeah, I think a master class a lot of the time is something that's pre-recorded.
Okay.
We have master class on our TV, and I know there's a lot of different people that they take a term, and the word mastermind has been drugged through so many different things. We're like, hey,
Yes.
we're having a one-day mastermind. And then I see what it is. I'm like, that's not a mastermind. That's not the definition of a mastermind. But yeah, master class, mastermind. Master class to me, a lot of the time is pre-recorded and you're watching it.
Yeah.
Though can be helpful. He's learning how to skateboard. We're learning how to cook and find different things. It's nice on Masterclass, which is an app, or nice on a pre-recorded message. But a mastermind to me is more intimate. Now I know the world of COVID has drastically changed our definition of intimacy and together, and that's coming back around, which is great. But to me, a mastermind is two or more people coming together and sharing their thoughts and their ideas on how to move the needle. Napoleon Hill had it right. In my podcast, it's called the Mastermind Effect, where I get to interview the top coaches and masterminds around the world. And one of the questions that we talk about in there is probably the first mastermind, and this isn't to get religious, but the first mastermind was probably the apostles. And then from there, Benjamin Franklin created the Junto Club, or the Leather Apron Club. And then Napoleon Hill finally writes the book and really solidifies the definition of a mastermind. Now, there's different formats of masterminds, and everyone has their opinion on what they like, what they don't like. But it consists to me of two or more people at least coming together. Now, here's the thing that you'll find people who do masterminds, and I'm not as big of a fan of this. We're going to have, let's say, a car club. We'll go with insurance because I own an insurance company. We're going to have an insurance mastermind. And all we have in that room is everyone in the same industry. Let's say you have 10 people in a room. All of them are in insurance. Though good, the problem here is you're thinking the same. You're all coming from the same industry. You're all having the same problems. You all might be doing it a little bit differently, but the group mentality is almost like 10 people, one brain, but only one idea coming to the table. A mastermind that I think is the most valuable masterminds are if you have 10 people, and again, 10 is just a placeholder. So I don't want the number to restrict us. Okay. 10 people, 10 different industries, and sitting there, and I call it my Rubik's Cube. And you're sitting there and you're taking different ideas from different industries and plugging it and rearranging your Rubik's Cube and how it pertains to you. Because now you have a person that's in insurance, you have a person that's in marketing, you have a person that's in podcasting, you have a person that could be a personal chef. And you're listening to maybe the problems that they're facing or the solutions that they're finding out. And you're like, you know what? I might not be in that industry, but I can take this piece and I can plug it in there. Why do I know that works? This company, the Success Finder, was literally built around taking the ideas of the teachers and what had made them successful, seeing a problem, rearranging it into my Rubik's Cube to build it out. So the best ones, you can have more than one person from the same industry. That's fine. But if the entire room consists of everyone that's in the same industry, I think you defeat the purpose. And now you just have a BNI group.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot to speeches from Jay Abraham, where I also have. Yeah, Jay is great.
Yeah.
So I have several courses or video online courses and webinars, and I mean, this is something that he is living. He worked for many industries, many different industries, and they all have this zero thinking. So one industry doesn't know a clue about another industry. So he's picking, like you said, from one to another and just creating new things and new strategies, but basically they are not new. They're only new within another industry. That's basically what he's doing, and that's basically what you're doing with Success Finder.
Absolutely. All I did is I took this, rearranged it, and there's only 7 chords or 7 notes in a song or whatever it is. There's only so many ways you can rearrange something. And so it's really, anything isn't new and creative. It's just thinking of it a different way.
Cool. So when it comes to masterminds, creating masterminds, what are the mistakes that entrepreneurs make when they want to start their own masterminds? What do you think are people doing wrong?
Yeah, and I think one of the things I see is that we self dub or self give ourselves the name expert or guru. There's a lot of experts, a lot of gurus. The one thing that I always believed in is you never give yourself your own nickname, and you never dub yourself an expert or a guru. If the crowd sits there and says you're an expert or guru, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with the crowd giving you the nickname, but don't give yourself that. Be a student. Always be a student. Be more interested than interesting. So where do I see it going wrong is they say, I'm the expert in this. They're great at marketing. People flood to the room, figuratively. And then they get there, and you have all different people from all the different industries, and all the guru or expert can do is teach it from their perspective. And they can't help people plug and play. Or they get the people that fled to that room, they come there, and all of a sudden they've got a motivational speaker. Now, it's great to get a motivational speaker, but they don't have an activator, someone that can actually give them actionable results. Like, here's step 1 through 10. And I'm being generic in the steps 1 through 10, but here's what you do. You implement this and this, and then we're going to come back. Here are your actionable items. They just get them all excited. Like, have you ever been to a conference and like someone comes off stage and it's a huge name, and I'm not going to throw any names out there, but huge name, get you all excited.
And then nothing happens.
24 hours later, like, I just got to see. Okay, great. How much did you cost? It cost me $1,200 US dollars. All right. So what are you going to do with it? This is just awesome. And I've got nothing. I'm a motivator, not an activator. So you're going to have so many masterminds that are going to be motivators. But what did they actually give you that was actionable? Nothing. So when it comes to creating a mastermind, I don't want people to use the term lightly. I want them to really think about it and really realize, like, when they're putting it together, who am I going to surround myself with? Because I can't do a mastermind just by myself. Who is in my sphere that is in different industries that I can bring in? Because I can't know everything. So when they're going through the mastermind, they're going to bring in product expert A, product X. And I know I use the word expert, but teacher A, teacher B, teacher C, to help the overall group environment level up, go to that next level. Realizing that, like, you might be able to create a great room environment, but that you're going to need to rely upon also other people that are knowledgeable in something to help those that are in the mastermind. So I really sit there and see that we try to have people that try to call themselves experts and gurus when they're really not. And then people get burnt. They spend money that they maybe can or can't afford. And then they're just jaded from the experience and like, hey, I'm out. I'm done.
Yes.
Not going to invest in myself anymore. Again, that's where I had an unfair advantage that if it didn't work out, I might not have been jaded. I might have been PO'd, but I could have still kept moving forward. So that's one example. I mean, we can keep going down a list of things that we see that aren't handled right when it comes to a mastermind. Deliverables, follow through. If you list, these 5 deliverables and only 2 of them happen, that's a problem. I know I'm being vague, but it's been a mastermind that I've been in before. They're like, hey, here are the 5 deliverables that we're going to do. And these 5 deliverables equal this value. And you want your value to exceed what the cost or what the investment was. So you don't want to look at it as a cost. You want to look at it as investment. And if they don't at the end of it, you got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You have an honest problem that if you have these 5 deliverables and only 2 of the 5 happen, what you promised and what actually happened isn't there. And I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
Yeah. So in the old days, people came together and they flew to Thailand, for example, or go to conferences. These days, it's more like Zoom calls, private Zoom calls. And so how did COVID affected to this whole mastermind business?
Yeah. And here was a nice thing. Even before COVID happened, masterminds, if some of the best ones would be maybe monthly meetups on a Zoom. And then you would have like 4 experiences throughout the year. So if we're talking a 12-month mastermind, okay, let's say you have monthly meetups, and in those monthly Zoom calls, they bring in a product specialist, okay, based off of what the overarching mastermind is about. From there, you have 4 experiences throughout the year. And again, all of these are just placeholders. If we're saying it's a 12-month one, monthly calls, product specialists come in to talk about what it is. So they're moving the needle. If it's like, hey, over the next 12 months, we need to accomplish these things, you put those product specialists in the right order so it gets them closer to what their goal is. Mm-hmm. And then when you have those in-person ones, those experiences, that's when, that level of the mastermind goes up, because now we're in the see it, touch it, feel it phase. We see each other on Zoom, but now we can touch it and feel it when we're face to face. So I think the best ones, if you can, Zoom's fine. Like that was my first, before I hit Thailand, we did have some Zoom calls and I was good with that because I knew I was eventually going to get to touch it and feel it, meaning I was going to be face to face with those people. So I think you're fine. Like a lot of people got frantic. I get it. I'm not trying to downplay COVID whatsoever and what happened, but a lot of things really didn't go well during that. And we didn't know what was going to happen. And we became super reactionary. And all you had to do is just shift it and say, hey, by the way, we can't meet up anymore. We're going to have to postpone this to 2021, but let's continue having these Zoom calls. Let's continue moving the needle forward, because at the end of it, whether you're on Zoom or you're face-to-face, more happens face-to-face, but you can still accomplish the same thing. Like, think about it. Like, you and I are having this conversation right now. You're probably anywhere from 10 to 12 hours ahead of me, time zone, I'm guessing. And we're able to still get the same amount of value based off of a conversation because I can see you. I can read your facial expressions. I can sit there and be like, okay, am I being a good guest right now? Am I actually helping move the needle and answering questions that are actually valuable to Jakob's audience? Mm-hmm. And so to me, a mastermind can be held this way. And that's how they're going to have to be held for a while going forward, because it's not going to be as easy still to travel.
Yes. Okay. All the points that you said give me just a relief, because I'm also planning a mastermind myself about content marketing, and it's planned to have weekly live calls, weekly Zoom group coachings, and with membership area, and also other experts that I'm going to invite in the area of content that I also already interviewed. So that's all the answers that you gave me just were good answers when it comes to my mastermind.
But they're honest answers, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. Someone might not like them. They're just the real, they're the answers the way that it pertains to, how I see it. It might not be how someone else sees it. And I know a company that can help you out in communications and building out that monthly membership when you're doing it too.
Yeah, would love to get an introduction.
We'll have to see. I think I think I know the founder and CEO of the Success Finder. So we'll get back to that one.
Oh, cool. So let's speak about the Success Finder. So this is Brian Boger told me about this project. So he introduced us to each other. And thank you to Brian for this introduction.
Here's to Mr. Bogert. I was just on the phone with him here the other day.
Yes, great guy. So so how did this project started? So you said you already bought the URL way back when you started the mastermind?
Okay.
When you participated.
Yeah, I'm
in
leaving the
Thailand.
mastermind and I'm stuck in an airport in Thailand and I don't speak Thai.
Yeah.
And it's after midnight. And so I don't know why I'm booted. I didn't do anything wrong. I just gonna have to go on another plane. So that's where I sat there in the middle of the airport and got on the wi and just started buying up URLs. I'm like, okay, we can call it this. We can call it this. We can call it this. We've had different iterations of what we were going to originally call it.
Mhm.
But the idea and the premises for it being a matching, rating, knowledge-based center where people can come together to find the result leaders, the action takers, not the motivators, has never changed. The idea and the premises behind it has never changed. But it was from leaving my first mastermind. My goal and my idea, my mission, vision, and values was never to be a coach, never to have a mastermind. But I'm the person in the middle. I'm the trip advisor that's going to take both sides and help navigate those waters.
Yes. And when it comes to the people who are downloading the app, what do you wish them, and what is the goal that you want to picture, or what vision do you have for these kind of people who are downloading the app and want to find the perfect coach?
Yeah. First and foremost, please give us grace. We're in beta. We're a new company. We're in beta, but know the fact that the person that is behind this has built a 7-figure company, was also one of 12 owners that was behind over $2 billion a year in sales with another company that I've exited from several years ago. So I've got a little bit of experience that sits behind me, and the people that are helping build this out are other amazing people. You might have heard of a company called Amazon. And one of the co-founders of what we now know of AWS, Amazon World Services, is the person handling the zeros and ones behind it. So he was one of the co-founders before Amazon purchased the company that he was one of the co-founders on. Oh. Some of the brilliant sculptors that are helping shape me personally, and then the company personally, are behind some of the most unbelievable names, or are connected to and work with some of the most unbelievable athletes and result leaders around the world. So we've got an unbelievable team in regards to that. What do I want from you, from people that are downloading the app? From a membership standpoint, membership's free. So you go download it, it's free. Know that we're building out the processes. So when you come on, your journey is becoming easier. Like Jakob goes on today, he downloads it.
Yes.
I try to send him a chat. He doesn't see it. And, I send it off to the dev team for whatever reason. But when Jakob comes in the future, Jakob number 2 comes in. After a few minutes of being on there, something will pop up and say, hey, go check this out so you can learn how to do this. Hey, go check this out so you can do this. So we'll be creating training videos on the how-tos. So your journey is smoother. It's easier. The reality is, like, there was no, with Clubhouse, if everyone's heard of Clubhouse, it's the huge fad. I don't think it's just a fad. I think it's, it's just a growing behemoth right now. But there wasn't a tutorial. Everyone had to create rooms to say, hey, how do we use this? How do we use this? We get that. We're not Clubhouse, but we will create those how-tos from a member journey. We will create the how-tos from a TSF, so the Success Finder, so we call them TSF coaches, from a TSF coach and mastermind standpoint. We're going to have private calls with the coaches to sit there and say, hey, this is how you utilize this best. We're building that out. Now, people would sit there and be like, why launch something that isn't perfect? Why launch something where all of this isn't in place? I could take another week, a month, a year, and there's always going to be something else that we say, why don't we have this? When you have an idea, so many ideas don't come off the proverbial shelf, which is in your head. They just sit there. So I decided to take the plane off because I knew the team that I had around me was just unbelievably amazing. And I said, we'll get it going. Yes. We will move the needle. We will change the world. We're going to do it together. The members, the coaches, our team, and you're going to find out. So when you go in there right now, can you go buy a mastermind or a coach? No. If you click on the events thing where those will sit, it says coming soon. We have all the data. We have all the zeros and ones, all the technologies built out, but it's literally data input. That takes time. Like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do you want the training tutorials? Do you want this? So I guess my point on this is, like, for entrepreneurs that are sitting there on the sidelines saying, well, I don't have it perfect yet, take off. Surround yourself with the right people and go take off. So download it and message me. You're immediately already friends with me when you go on there. So message me, Brandon Straza. Be like, hey man, what's next? We'll eventually, within the next few weeks, have it to where, like, you'll get an automatic push message. Hey, you're new to the app. Go try this, this, and this.
Yes. So this reminds me to Iron Man, the first part, I think. So
Yeah.
when he first time is in Iron Man in the new version, and he says sometimes you have to run before you make your first step.
Yes.
So sometimes it's just better just to fall into the water and start swimming, even if it's hard, but you will make big progress.
Yeah, there's a tech term out there, and they say fail fast.
Fail fast, yes.
Some of the biggest tech companies out there say we're going to fail, but we're going to fail fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are going to fail, but we're going to fail forward. And we're going to fail fast.
Exactly. Cool.
And that's okay. I'm good with that. Like, I realize I'm going to be building with people around me over $250 million company, but we're not. Money will be a byproduct of what we build. Money will be I want people to hear that. Now it's key. I got a foundation. I got other businesses, but I don't have to look at it from like, hey, how much can we turn this hamster wheel? Money will be a byproduct because we're creating a for-purpose company. When you go in, Jakob, and you decide to go purchase and be in one of Steve Sims's masterminds, okay? Mm-hmm. Great. We're going to hold a portion of our proceeds back to reinvest in you as a member. So you'll be able to bank up to 1,000 soft dollars, dollar for dollar, in order to purchase another coach, another mastermind. So we're going to hold a portion of our proceeds back. Another portion of our proceeds that we're going to hold back, why we're so adamant about being a for-purpose company, is there's a younger generation out there that might not have a mom and dad that have what you might want to call a standard jobs. The dad might work a night shift and the mom might work a double, and the school district they're in might not be the best. We're going to hold a portion of our proceeds back to reinvest and pay our coaches and masterminds to work with the younger generation, the 14, 15, 16-year-olds that don't have the best school district. And why are we going to do this? Because when we reinvest in that generation, if we reinvest in someone at the age of 14, by the time Sally, as I call her, Sally is 15, 16, 17, she'll be able to solve more problems because she'll have had access to our coaches, our masterminds. It will help her household, her community, her school district, and obviously it'll help Sally. So we're going to reinvest in that younger generation and hold a portion of what we make back to pay our coaches to make sure that those children have coaches.
Awesome. And just imagine, Brandon, one day you will get a letter from Sally, when you call her Sally, and she's writing how your app, how the Success Finder changed her life.
It's the mountain in the ocean. The podcast is the pebble in the pond. If one person listens to the podcast and reaches out to that coach, then it's done its job. The Success Finder is the mountain in the ocean that will have an immense ripple effect. We actually have something on the platform called a ripple effect, believe it or not. And it's going to change how we connect and have access to the result leaders. The Sallys of the world are so important in this next generation, and making sure that they're nurtured and they have access to the coaches and the masterminds.
Yeah. So just so that I get it right, if, for example, I want to create my content masterclass. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do is I'm uploading information about the futures, about the things that I want to teach, also writing down the price point. Can I also upload video material and also pictures?
So, yeah. To make sure that I understand your question, you're saying from a TSF coach standpoint, if you want to be a coach or a mastermind on our platform. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So first and foremost, we've already closed down the process. So we aren't taking on any new coaches or masterminds till late spring, early summer.
Next time.
We're taking on members. Membership, we're not closing down membership by any standpoint, but we have closed down the process for taking on any new coaches. Now they can go fill out the paperwork now, And then we reach out to them. They go in the queue. We let them know what's happening. So let's say the process is open. You fill out the intake form. The knowledge center is where your top 5 blogs, vlogs, and videos sit. So yes, you can have videos on the platform. You can have blogs. You can have vlogs. You can have trainings on there. Right now, you can go live to your private group just as an individual. We're working with Zoom and a couple other companies to sit there and actually bring that Zoom type of a feature on our platform, so you don't have to leave it. But you can have a community-based area where you have monthly memberships as a TSF coach. And you can have different tiers for that. So yes, you're able to have your private trainings on there. And the people that are in your private group, like, hey, well, no, I got Facebook over there. That's great. We're not trying to replace the Zuck, that has nothing to do with that. But, everyone in that private Facebook group has access to stuff that maybe some of the paying people aren't. So you want to have that exclusivity where they know they're not here to look at family and friends and photos and be marketed to. When they're on the Success Finder, they know what they're there for. Mm-hmm. They know that they're there to level up and learn. So when a message comes across to their coach or to their mastermind, their coach is like, oh, wait, hey, I need to pay attention to this because someone in my community is needing something. So it specifically sets that aside. But no, when you go in there, it's your logo, your marketing inside of that is tailored towards you. You being able to see the connectivity, the interactions amongst people. You're able to gamify it. If you have certain metrics that you want them to meet, you can set a point system with it. You can have rewards with it. So you're able to, allow them to, as they go through your training, like they can't complete video 2 until they've done 1. And then they can take a quiz. So, you're able to take them through that step process and allow them to feel like, oh my gosh, I completed these 5 tutorials and I get this badge and award. Now, does that badge and award mean anything like financially at the end of the day? No, but it's still something to sit there and say, hey, you've got to get this to get this badge, this award. So we gamified the system as well, because in self-education, let's be honest, it makes us feel good. And we want to see those kinds of things.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also, it's something, so traditional education on a university, the whole world is now moving into the digital world, even universities. Wow. Also in Germany. So there are a lot of things, but it's always the question how you structure it. So you can put videos in a Google Drive file and say, consume it. Or you can do it in a nice looking layout, in just procedure and scheduling it, or every week one new training material, and also follow-ups. So it's always the question how you structure it. And I think Success Finder makes it in a smart way, so that's really that people really want to enjoy it and would want to consume it.
It's all in one location for them. Mm-hmm. So they don't have to go Facebook group for this, Teachable or Google Drive for this, over here for this, communicate for this. It's going to keep it in a centralized location to make that process nice and smooth. We don't like to feel disconnected. Yeah. So we want to bring that connectivity back. And then the people in your group, they're able to get to know each other better. They're able to recognize, hey, who was able to accomplish this, because they see it right there. If you create that leaderboard, you're like, oh my gosh. And again, I know I'm being a little vague in this, but like, depending on how you want to set up a leaderboard inside your private group on what you want the accomplishments to be, they're like, I don't want Bob outpacing me. I don't want Jakob. What did he just do? But yeah, they're able to see what their fellow masterminders, their fellow members are doing, which is amazing.
Yeah. Love it. Really cool.
So there you go.
I think what I thought is tutorials and how to handle the app, how to use it would be a good fit. So I'm sure you're planning already these kind of video material. Yeah. Okay. There are many plans.
It's like literally this is just, And then I've got a notepad over here on the computer screen of stuff of like, things that I've got different departments working on.
Okay, cool. How big is your team, by the way?
So the direct team that I talk with on a daily basis, there's 3 of us. And then behind that, that's just like direct reports that I'm actually just hands-on with. There's, between the dev team and I would say the people shaping it from a mental standpoint that we've partnered with, there's 12 to 15 more. So that I deal with on a daily basis, there's 3, because if I'm dealing with 12 to 15 people, then I'm dealing with nobody at the end of the day. And so everyone kind of just, spreads out from there.
Yeah, cool, really cool. So you're in beta, and what are the next steps? So for this year, what are major accomplishments that you want to achieve?
Yeah, major accomplishments that we want to achieve. I could sit there and say, hey, I want to have, 100,000 people on the platform by the end of the year. I could sit there and say we want 500 coaches and masterminds on the platform by the end of the year. And the reality is those are just vanity metrics. Those are me sitting there putting something. So what we want is we want to continue to work with and connect with the right results leaders. And those are, people like you, Jakob. So, I mean, making sure that we have the right coaches and or mastermind, like events that are on our platform, and then getting the process nice and smooth. There's always bumps in the road, as I call it, in anything, but streamlining that process so that customer journey, that member journey, that coach's journey, when they come on, they're like, they don't have to guess. They know what they're there for, and they know what's next. Why am I here? Am I supposed to be here? And what's next? And so that's really what we want to to work on. There's something right here, if I can find it real quick, that I read off to my team. And this is Nick Peterson, someone I highly recommend looking up. He was he and Jeff Moore had Jay Abram on the other night, and I'm hoping that I can find it. But it's why am I here? Am I in the right place? What do I do next? So when you're building out your mastermind, when you're building out your website, when you're building out anything, so since this is about masterminds and people that want to have a mastermind, you need to answer every step of the way. As the consumer, when they come to you, why am I here? Am I in the right place? What do I do next?
I'm just writing it down. So why I'm here? Am I here right?
Why am I here?
Yeah.
Am I in the right place? What do I do next? Why am I here? I'm here for a mastermind. Am I in the right place? Do I fit in? Is this something that's, is this something that is going to help change my current location? You have to know where you're at to know where you're going. So many masterminds and coaches will sit there and say, okay, they won't find out where you're at. They won't find out your current address, figuratively. If you plug into GPS and you want to go to the grocery store down the street or the supermarket, but you start your address from across the street, but you're over here, you're not going to get to the right place, or it's going to take longer. So am I in the right place? What do I do next? What are the action items that I do next?
Yeah. Cool. Really cool. So yeah, I thought maybe also write something about this topic. I mean, I'm also an author at Thrive Global. We already spoke about this. Maybe this could be also an interesting topic just to create some media buzz for Success Finder.
Yeah, absolutely. You're wanting to build a mastermind. One of the things I think you asked me was like, okay, what should I do next when I want to build a mastermind? Like, what are the things? Answer those 3 questions right there. And what are you doing it for? Like, what's your purpose? What's your passion? What's your purpose behind it? Like, what do you have to offer? Always be a student.
Yes. Bringing people, bringing coaches, business consultants, coaches, more, that they are more visible in the internet way.
Yes.
So that more people can see their products and their services. That's my main purpose. So creating more live streams, creating more videos, and speaking about their products, speaking with their target audience about their needs, and so having a bigger impact. That's basically what I want.
Yeah. I mean, the world is ever changing, and it's going to continue to ever change. COVID didn't change the world. It was already changing. That's the reality. It's how we actually, I don't want to say react, but how do we answer that call?
Mm-hmm.
How do we stand up, answer that call, and sit there and be like, I got this? And why do I have it? Why do I have that confidence behind me? It's because of the people that are around me. It's literally, if you're going to look for a coach or a mastermind, find out who are they learning from, and are they still investing in themselves?
Mm-hmm.
If someone sits there and says, I don't have time, I'm so busy, I got this, that, because I've had that excuse. Okay. And that's where my wife said, go call that guy that talked about that word mastermind.
Good wife.
Yeah.
Smart wife.
Smart friend, smart partner. And if whoever you're going to invest in, because you're going to invest in yourself, but you're also investing in the person on the other side of it, are they learning from anyone else? Who is it? Are they investing in a mastermind? Are they investing in a coach? And because if not, they don't have time. They've stopped being students.
Yes. So Jim Rohn said you're the average of 5 persons that you're hanging around. So I truly believe this. So, and that's the reason why I love this podcast format, because I'm always surrounding myself with other people who are like-minded, but who are just further on this, on the road, just own businesses longer than I'm born. And I'm constantly learning from them. That's the reason why I'm doing it.
Yeah. The collective power of the people around me it's so different than it was 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 3 years ago. It just continues to grow. And here's the thing. I'm constantly uncomfortable.
Yes.
I'm constantly questioning, am I in the right room? Not because am I in the right room? Like, hey, I know more than everyone else. I'm like, oh my gosh, the people in the rooms that I'm in, like who they work with, what they've accomplished. I'm always like, I'm just going to sit. I need to sit there and be quiet and listen, soak this in. Like I'm constantly uncomfortable. And that's when you know you're in the right place.
Yes. You should be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's a good thing.
A phrase that I coined years ago was comfort kills.
Yeah, that's true.
I've got plenty of videos out there that someone recorded on me a few times, and comfort kills.
Yeah, that's true. Brandon, we're running already out of time. I could speak with you one more hour. Just the last question. So I'm always asking, who do you recommend for my podcast? That's my
Who
last
do I recommend
question.
for your podcast? Are you looking for marketers? Are you looking for mentors, coaches, masterminds? Give me, your ideal dream client.
Yeah. So, marketer, definitely content marketing, if possible.
Steve Sims.
Okay.
Do you want to be connected? Do you know who Steve is?
No.
So I'll name drop on stuff, and these will be the names, Sir Elton John, Elon Musk, worked with the Vatican and shut down wherever the statue of David is, the whatever thing, and had Andrea Bocelli come in and serenade a private family. Geez, I mean, I could probably go on and on, but I think between Bocelli closing down the museum where the statue, working with the Vatican, and Sir Elton John and Elon Musk, those are probably decent size people right there. If you want to be connected with Steve, I will. I'll put an email together, and just do me a favor, because when I connect people with Steve, I entrust in him. I consider him a friend. I consider him a coach and a mentor, and he's one of the intricate people that are helping us with the Success Finder. Just make sure you reply pretty quickly to him.
Always. I will.
But
promise.
Steve Sims, if you want to know marketing and branding and experiences and stories, he's your man.
Okay. That sounds cool. So
they call him the real Wizard of Oz.
Sounds great. That's a cool introduction. Yeah. Other than that, I'm also open to consultants or business coaches who are also creating good content. So always interested in good content creators.
Yeah. Well, and there's the thing. You're going to have a couple handfuls of them that we'll be having on the Success Finder that you'll be able to work with, connect with when we get you on the platform from the standpoint of a TSF coaching standpoint. and be able to move the needle there. But we'll talk about that off air.
That's cool. So thank you very much, Brandon. I think this was very valuable. I learned a lot. Really appreciate it. And I think we will do some couple more of things when it comes to the Success Finder. That's my gut feeling. So really thank you.
Jakob, thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.